If you have been a member of my Patreon or you're part of the Pony Club, you know one of the things we've talked about is the continuing, well, destruction of the platform formerly known as Twitter, now known as just simply X. You know, if you want to be cool, but it's still Twitter. We all still call it Twitter. Even YouTube still calls it Twitter. There's so many websites that still have all the links calling it Twitter. No one calls it X because it looks really weird. No one's making the switch, Elon. But apparently that message still hasn't got through, and Musk still continues to absolutely just destroy the platform into the ground with its continuing abandoning user base. As we mentioned before in one of my Pony Club Patreon videos, like I say, if you want to see those, link down below in the description. Of course, the Pony Club down below as well too. Go check them out. There's a ton of content for you guys. But we talked about just how badly he is destroying this company. And now, it looks like Musk is about to destroy this company even more. Because he apparently now is massively upset with the EU. Because the EU, of course, has its Digital Services Act, which says, hey, you're a social media company. This is how we expect you to act. And guess what? Musk is refusing to demonstrate that. And now, over this probe, because the EU have said, we're going to look into you. And if you, again, we watched those videos, those interview videos, and I still say to this now, go check that video out where we watched those two interviews. Fascinating interviews, by the way. Give them a watch. But oh my, he's about to destroy the company. Why? Because he is now, over this investigation, going to pull Twitter from all of Europe. So, enjoy it while you can, because he's got until October the 31st to decide. Because, oh my word, this just gets... I just don't know what to say. How can you just absolutely destroy a platform like this? No one ever thought it would just be this bad. And it just continues to get even worse and worse. But, as always, thank you very much to everyone, like I say, for watching today. Like I say, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and the Pony Club as well, where you can get access to all those extra videos, where you can watch all those video content. Like I say, I do sort of a video a week for you guys. So like I say, you can help support the channel sort of that way. The like and the share button. There's the YouTube thank you button as well, if you just want a one-off donation. And of course, the Buy Me Coffee link as well. So yeah, as always, thank you very much to everyone who does help and support the channel. Now on with this, because honestly, it looks like you've got until the end of the month. And then looks like Musk could just pull the plug on Europe. So I don't know, and enjoy it while you can, I guess. But let's get into this. So this comes from the Register. So Elon Musk is said to be toying with the idea of withdrawing access to X in the European Union rather than go through with the effort to comply with the bloc's Digital Services Act. As reported last week, his muskiness had rather a public spat on the website with Theron Breton, the EU Commissioner for the Internal Market, who was simply reminding social media platforms of their content moderation obligations under the law. That's all she was doing. And you can go see that that rather public spat that Elon had, and it just doesn't make him look good. Honestly, I one of the things that Musk buying Twitter has done, and we've said this before multiple times, but it has shown just how much of an egotist he is, an idiot he is, and this whole idea that he was this big brain genius has been thoroughly brought low. Yeah, he still will have his defenders, but he ain't got as many as he used to. That's for certain. But anyway, it continues. This had been particularly renewed in the light of the recent hostilities between Israel and Hamas, and the potential disinformation campaigns which had been swirling online. Meta, TikTok, and YouTube were also sent letters. The free speech absolutionist Musk's response was sarcastic and juvenile, the kind of smack talk that would see a teen grounded. And that's true, it certainly would be. And it would take a couple of days for the adult in the room, the CEO, Linda Yakonovo, to get a formal response written. And I've said before, I'm going to feel sorry for her because I think she's the fall guy. If 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 it all goes completely belly up, she's the fall guy. Musk is going to blame her. Everything is going to be on her. Wasn't his fault. However, by then, the EU had already indicated that X was now under investigation. And again, it's so stupid just calling it X. That X was now under investigation on the account of its designation as a very large online platform under the Digital Services Act, which means that it has to follow rules regarding how it handles the illegal content, amongst many other things. The website was given the deadline of the 18th of October to provide information on the activation and functioning of the X Crisis Response Protocol, and on October the 31st for other requested details. So, as I said, if you're in Europe, good luck, because you're not going to have X anymore if Musk decides to pull the plug. Seeing how X has been gutted to become a husk of what it once was, we imagine its crisis response protocol to be staffers just running around what operational officers it has left screaming. That's probably quite true as well. Since Musk increasingly appears to see obeying the law as optional for him, it would be very unlike the ex-owner to actually do anything. And whispers out of the company seem to support this. So the most watertight sources have said a person familiar with the matter told Insider that Musk has been discussing simply removing the app's availability in the region or blocking users in the European Union from accessing it. Much how like Meta's Threads has declined to launch in the EU because it was unwilling and unable to meet the union's very onerous data protection and privacy requirements. Bear in mind, they are not onerous. These are very, 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 to be honest, very good data protections and privacy requirements. For the companies, not so, but for a user, they are honestly very, very good. It stops your data and your privacy being shared as often as it would. Certainly after Brexit, I know a lot of people, if you've taken notice of this, since we've properly left, there's been an increase in, phone calls. Well, where are they getting your information for that phone call? Mostly it's online and on these social media platforms. And that is because we have left the European Union. I certainly noticed a massive downtrend. And then, of course, once we actually left, I've noticed a big upswing. I'm sure everyone else has noticed it as well. But hey, there you go. So back to it. So the reason why this could be just easier to pull the plug than to bend to the European Union's European bureaucracy is because of moderation teams have been almost entirely dismantled. The platform's Trust and Safety Council, a group of volunteers that Twitter once consulted on matters of online harms, was outright deleted. As a result, Twitter, which was once intensely moderated, has become a wild west of violence, misinformation, disinformation, racism, and hardcore pornography. Many of the website's rules judging what users can or cannot post have been screwed up and just tossed in the trash. Like I say, it's a completely dead platform. That's why people are continuing to leave it in droves. However, zooming out, an estimated over 6,000 people have been let go since Musk acquired Twitter for at least 44 billion last year, and it began to pivot to its everything app, the X. That's at least 80% of its former workforce, meaning the platform may just simply not have enough boots on the ground to be able to implement what the governments require. I mean, just imagine that for a second. You've released 80% of your staff. 80% of your staff. Sources have claimed that Musk immediately wanted to limit Twitter's operation to the US, and that has more or less been borne out thanks to the companies deciding to stop paying office rent in multiple locations. That's part of the reason he has gutted the international teams the first chance he got, many have said. According to insider sources, Twitter's offices in London and Dublin do remain operational, but those in Paris, Madrid, and Berlin have been shut, and essentially no employees remain in Europe. While Musk's takeover continues to be observed as one nonsensical business decision after another, withdrawing from Europe could further damage X's revenue for what an already cash-strapped company following the exodus of advertisers for reasons made clear earlier. The very large online platform under the Digital Services Act is one that can reach over 10% of Europe's population, and Europe makes up around 9% of X's global monthly active user base. So bear in mind, that's how much audience he will be losing if he does this. This will be a massive loss. Just does not make simple business sense. It makes more business sense to spend the money and comply with the regulations. But of course, Musk ain't interested in that. So most of these figures come from Aptonia, say that the usage has significantly dropped across the region over the past 3 months by about 10 to 40%. Oof. Yeah. When money is no object, Musk's net worth is over 255.9 billion. Perhaps it's not important. Insider sources say that the world's richest man has met with Breton on a couple of occasions to try and hash out what X needs to do. But, quote, he has lost patience with the situation. He's very quickly to drop the hammer on anyone who doesn't on anyone he doesn't like, they said, who says something that he views as challenging him. This is true. Just look at how Musk reacted when he found out that Bill Gates was was shorting Tesla stock. Basically, no one can say what Musk is prepared to do, though although deactivating X in Europe would be a blessing in disguise for the people living there. Brits, however, no longer beholden to EU law after Brexit, may not be so lucky. So, hey, thank you for that. So yeah. Um I well, what? He's got a week left? Yeah, less than a week. We'll find out next week. So I suppose if you're in Europe and you like using X, um, enjoy it while you can, because it doesn't look like it's going to be around too much longer. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.